Hi there, I'm Justin Pritchard, and today, oh boy. This is the Panamera Turbo S E-Hybrid, presently the most cutting-edge car Porsche builds. It's a machine of compromise conquering firsts, a rolling showcase of Porsche's latest technologies on offer in their finest form, and currently their most high-tech display of advanced performance firepower. Most notably, this machine also marks the first time that the highest performing version of a mainstream Porsche model has been a hybrid. Let's rewind a little. This is the Porsche 918 Spyder, and I drove it a few years back and it was horrifying because it was so rare and special, and also because it accelerated like it had been fired out of a railgun. It's so fast we weren't even allowed to drive it on public roads. This was not a mainstream production car. It was an ultra-rare, nearly $1 million supercar for the ultra-rich, but back then Porsche promised more high-performance hybrid cars like it. If you're wondering, it had a 4.6-liter V8 hybrid engine with the better part of 900 horsepower. And today, that same revolutionary approach to performance has landed right here. Porsche is whetting the appetites of electric performance buffs with this car. After all, there's a new all-electric sports car range coming from them in the very near future. And today, there's this Panamera Turbo S E-Hybrid to tide us over. This 4-liter V8 has twin turbo and makes a silly 550 horsepower, but of course there's more. Thanks to a 14-kilowatt electric battery and motor hooked up to that gas engine, total system output is rated at 680 horsepower and nearly 630 pounds of torque. You get 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. That's as fast as a 911 GT3, quick enough to flatten your eyeballs and enough to make this one of the world's very fastest four-doors. It's incredibly lethally quick, but also, since it's a plug-in hybrid, you can drive it up to about 45 kilometers at a time using no fuel at all, provided you've plugged in to recharge the battery. And despite the crushing power, being a plug-in hybrid means that it's partially electric and that it uses fuel at a hilariously low rate. In fact, I've put more fuel through a Honda Accord, and this has as much horsepower as almost 4 of them. This is the drive mode selector dial. Set it to E for all electric, where you're clear for a few dozen kilometers using no fuel. Or click it into H for hybrid, where a constantly optimized blend of gasoline power and electricity moves the car along like a regular plug-in hybrid. Engage Sport mode, and you get more power and response, and feel the tension build in the car beneath as the steering and suspension firm and heavy up. Or go Sport Plus, where the Turbo S side of the Panamera's nomenclature comes alive. Here it's all systems go, maximum performance, 680 electric boosted horsepower coming online instantly, and all-wheel drive for off-the-line acceleration that is simply out of this world. The sound, as you'd expect from a leading posh rocket, is highly subdued. Some drivers will wish for more of it when they drop the hammer, though it's likely Porsche dialed it back to prevent those weak in the flesh from getting too carried away on the throttle. And that's a good thing, since you're never more than 3 upshifts away from a deep dive into the demerit point danger zone. Enjoy the first 4 gears in full and you'll probably wind up in jail. Only about 4 seconds on that throttle blasts you deep into trouble, and whoever approved this much power in a street-legal car should probably be put in a straitjacket. Of course, the big ceramic composite brakes with these unmistakable acid green calipers and crackle finish rotors are there to help reduce your speed even faster than it piles on, and unlike most hybrids, the brake feel is pretty darn good. The handling and grip and responsiveness are all gorgeously dialed in. On the handling front, I find Panamera more impressive for how it handles given its size and weight than how it handles in general. It's not the ultimate driver's car by any means, but you simply marvel that they've made something this big and heavy move the way that it does. Like all Porsches, handling and grip and braking and acceleration are matched perfectly off of one another, with nothing overwhelming anything else. You've got the full toolkit here. But you're best to enjoy the jet fighter levels of electric thrust very occasionally when no one's looking, and preferably on a closed course. This is a car meant to be driven hard or not. See, in addition to being the second most powerful Porsche you can buy, it's also a Panamera, meaning it's a full-function luxury flagship with a great ride, lots of space, all the featured content you'd expect for the money, and all wrapped up in one of the most striking interiors going. Luxurious touches are conveyed with plenty of high-tech, ultra-modern flair. This cabin, just like the powertrain, is out of this world, proudly flaunts its tech and poshness with equal strength, and makes you feel like you're on board the USS Enterprise, appropriate since there's basically warp drive under the hood. Don't miss the gloss black touchpads, the gorgeous instrumentation, or the numerous additional displays and lights and readouts that help you keep track of what the hybrid system is up to. This is a tricky one to sum up. It's one of the highest performing Porsches ever made and one of the fastest sedans in the world, but despite power that will almost literally peel your face off using very little fuel, it does the comfortable cruiser thing so well that you can just ooze along smugly, enjoying the tranquility and quiet using tiny amounts of fuel, and all while knowing you could pass an 18-wheeler in the time it takes you to stuff your sneaker to the firewall. Plus, since it's so efficient, you're clear for well over a full day's cruising, perhaps 1,000 kilometers or so on a full tank and a full battery. And the ride quality is great, and the high-end stereo is vivid and potent, and it's a relaxing place to be. So, is this a world-class luxury sports sedan flagship with a massive amount of power in its back pocket, or a crushing performance plaything that'll settle down for a nice highway drive? I guess the answer is that it's both. So, how much for one of Porsche's fastest and most cutting-edge machines? You're looking at $210 to start with my specific tester, clocking in at $230. That's 50 grand more than even the plug-in hybrid BMW i8 Roadster we drove a few weeks back. Though with this electrified Panamera, you've got twice as many doors and seats, 310 more horsepower, and a much faster car. It's new technology after all, and that can be expensive, but it's exciting too. We'll be seeing more Porsches and even more performance cars making the shift to electrification like this one, and one day this sort of powertrain in some form or another will be the new standard. Thanks for watching. I'm Justin Pritchard, and I'm going to get a lottery ticket. We'll see you next time.